guys still there? Wow. Y'all can hear me? What's happening with my G? Okay. All right, one sec. All right. Um, okay, y'all. Just gonna all right, start the show. All right, you're on Cosmic Root Show, Bless Radio. Those of you who are tuning in to live YouTube, yep, that's what's going on now. And you can tune into Bless Radio .uk.co.uk, Bless Radio 1.co.uk. You can get us on the internet. And yeah, so just going to start the show, yo, officially as it is. So be back with you in a few moments.
Recolor.
Yo, I'm playing some music. You can't hear it. Rotted. I don't know why you ain't hearing it, dude. Okay, yo. You see all of this thing here? And it's funny. Mercury retrograde, I'm not going to just blame everything on that, but there's a lot of things that have been happening that, being very disrupting, you know? And this has been coming from a few people I do know as well as my own experience. A lot of the technology and the equipment, when that starts going funny because of electromagnetic disturbances, because that's what you're dealing with, you see? You're dealing with a lot of electromagnetic energies. You're dealing with a lot of other forces, non-physical, moving through the atmosphere, amplified by solar storms, solar flares, amplified by cosmic transits, as we're dealing with the planetary forces. And a lot of the stuff is impacting this collective field that we're in, because you're dealing with pure energy. You're dealing with different degrees of consciousness, vibrational frequencies that is then outputs or brings into physical manifestation the quality of that consciousness, you see? And because we look at everything very solid, we're just dealing with forms. We're not even acknowledging the space that's within the forms and all around the forms, just like our own selves. We have space within all of those atoms. 99.9999999% of those atoms, is empty space. Within your cells, there's empty space. Within, you see what I mean? Within your body, there's cavities of space. And that space is not separate from the space that surrounds your body, okay? And also encapsulates all the forms you see around you. So within that space is moving a lot of powerful energies, you know? Thoughts, frequencies, intelligences. You're dealing with other non-physical consciousness intelligence that you can tune into, or is tuning into you. So a lot of a lot of a lot of stuff is really kicking up, kicking up now. Um, so so yo, I'm hearing folk in the studio. Anybody want to ask say something? I know. So I'm just talking now, dude, because you know, it's again one of those things. You see? So yeah, brother, that's what's hang on a second. We're gonna do this on the air. Okay. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. Uh-huh. Okay. Say that again? Last bit? Yeah, I heard that. Uh-huh. Yeah. All right, I'll try that. So what I said. So what I said. Eh? A man thing. Yeah? Energy technology and all them thing there. But look here, man. Things play up, you know. But yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. So how's things been for the day? Because you're on the show. You have to say something, man. What you been, you know?
Checky 1 2. You can hear me, innit?
All right. Can hear you clear, loud and clear,
Yeah,
bro.
I just plan to do something. Okay, you can get what you want.
You there?
Yeah. I was just sorting out something. No, we're just doing a little thing with Carl X.
Okay.
Yeah, sorting out something for him and that. It's all good still.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So yeah, what are you talking about?
Well, you see this new moon we had just a few days back
Now,
on
hold
Monday.
on a minute. We can back it up. I can say new moon. The moon's been there from I was born. It's not new.
Yeah, bro. All right. You're going to hit it on that. We're just talking about the terminology that you have new moons and you have full moons. You have waxing moons and you have waning moons. So we're just talking about the natural cycles that's in nature that do an impact upon ourselves and things in nature, even the cycles, the life cycles of things. You know
So
what I mean?
what's so new about the moon? Why you call it new?
Because what you end up having is that when you have a full moon is when the sun is directly opposite or the moon is directly opposite the sun. So the whole of it is lit up. You can see the full moon as in the full reflection or illumination of that light, reflecting back the light of the sun. But when you have a new moon, you're having a new beginning of a new cycle of the 28 or 30-day moon cycle. So when you're dealing with a new moon, you got the moon conjuncting the sun. That's why you cannot see a new moon. You see, you can only see a full moon, or you can only see the moon when it's waxing strong.
Ah, so the moon is new, but you can't see it.
Yeah. It's like
that make a lot of sense.
Huh? It don't make sense. It's
No.
the terminology of language. You have to understand the concept behind that. It's like every day is a new day, isn't it? But you can say that, well, this is just a day like any other day. But it's the way you approach that day. You can approach it with a new understanding of yourself, a new step in energy, a new way of approaching that day. You see what I mean? Or you can continue you continue the day the same old way as it has been in the past. Yeah?
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So, yeah, it's a good question. Why is it a new moon? But it's the terminologies, understanding the cycles of the moon. When it waxes strong, when it wanes weak, and when it begins a new cycle. You see what I mean?
All right.
Coming in.
Dilemma.
Yeah.
This
Go on.
this moon thing that is supposed to be new, yeah? Right, I think it's affecting the women. Right.
Well, the moon is dealing with the unconscious, subconscious, emotional aspect and nature of ourselves. And because women are very much related to the water, the emotions, the moon's going to have an impact on them. Their menstrual cycles are very correlated with the moon.
All right, so when I met this woman the other day, yeah, and
Yeah.
she says that when she gets up in the morning, she starts to sway left and right.
Hmm.
Why?
Well, bro, that could be different type of causes behind that, because just she begins to sway to and fro, you know. I mean,
Now, what I'm
then
saying
a
is that
question
would
like
that
that,
would
there
that would
need to be more talk with this woman, hear her say certain things. You
yeah,
know,
but
when did she begin
would
to
it have
feel that?
something to do with the tilting of the earth? Does the tilting of the earth affect people?
Well, the tilt. I mean, they talk about the 23-degree axis, knocked off 23 degrees, where the poles are not directly in alignment as they were before. So we're kind of not spinning like an upright egg. We're spinning kind of slightly to the side. You know. I mean, then some folk would say that's the reason why we're now more right-sided or right-handed rather than left, or why we think more on the left hemisphere of our minds rather than with an integrated left and right whole hemisphere. If we was, perpendicularly spinning, perpendicularly upright. So because everything is interconnected, just like a spider's web, you know, you plick, you pluck, you plick, you pluck one string, one thread, and it sends a shimmer or a vibration throughout the whole web. So there is, because of that interconnection, you know, there is things that affect us. But the thing is, it's like effects are not causes. Uh we're the ultimate ones that choose how we're gonna have how we're gonna experience our own personal reality. My brother, you there?
Yeah, yeah.
You see? But women and men, because you see, when we get this type of thing where we polarize and make out like women only this affects women, like only women have emotions and feelings, men are just pure logic and mental. I mean, that's not true. Men have an emotional body and they have feelings as well. um it's just the way we've been also conditioned by society and how a man should be and how a woman should be. There's certain natural laws through the genetic orchestration and organization and divine design. That makes it plain and simple and evident the difference between a man and a woman anatomically. Emotionally, there are differences in the way a woman's going to deal with her emotions and how a man's going to deal with his. Mentally, there's going to be a different way in how a woman may perceive and deal with logic differently to the man who's going to look at things and deal with logic in the way he deals with it. But the thing is that we got the same thing, but we're going to be dealing with it in our unique way. You see? So there's an integration that has to take place rather than this verse, that verse is this, and this verse is that. And then you have the world defining you. You have the world defining us like who you should be, defining man to be a man based upon whose value system, you know? You understand what I'm saying, brother?
Yeah, yeah.
You know? So you're gonna have you're having this imbalance taking place to the point where we're always trying to find a physical solution when the physical is actually a product, an effect of what has already taken place within the consciousness energy of things, you see? Because, the moon's going to affect all of us. But then there's a whole heap of different beliefs and different constructs, thought constructs people hold around even the moon, for example. If it's real or is it not real? Is it a satellite? Is it an artificial planet? Is it an old planet that is, now turned into a dead star? You see what I mean? Is it used for mind control and manipulation? You see what I'm saying? All of this type of stuff. Whole heap of things are running up and down. But unless we're seeking to understand the truth of ourselves, you won't know what is actually correlated to. I feel we need to understand divine order, the divine order of our own being. When you understand yourself, you begin to understand your relationship to the greater whole. Okay? But a lot of us are kind of dealing with coming from fragmented states. And we're caught up in a duality. We're having battles inside of ourselves. and those battles manifest in the physical realm. You know, so the moon deals with your moods and your feelings and the way people feel, and look how your moods can switch from day to day, moment to moment, and based upon your mood and the way you feel, that then affects the chemistry of your body, your brain, your whole system. Then what you're going to act out based upon that mood and the way you feel. You see, I mean, you even have the term lunatic connected to the moon, lunar cycles, because they feel that basically correlating through observation and correlation of scientific data and observing people and how they react at a certain, at a heights of a full moon, or governing or observing the cycles of the moon and seeing how that impacts upon women's menstrual flow or the mentality of people. They have come to correlate to realize that the moon does have an effect upon people's emotions, moods. Moon and moods is where you're getting the correlation of feelings. You see, mood swings, you get all of that, and these things also, if they're acted out, then this is what now is being created, what's being put out there to come back or to manifest in one's personal reality. Are you there, brother?
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to ask, or shall I just start the flow and go into some other levels of what I wanted to actually talk about tonight anyway? Yeah, just flow. Yeah, just go on. All right. Well, yes, soul brothers and sisters, tonight you're tuned in to Cosmic Root Show on Bless Radio 1. Your host here is Brother Siom, a.k.a. Cosmic Isle Mystic and Ab Onkrem. And you can find me on Facebook and Instagram as Siom, Siayome. And here to assist in the expansion of consciousness and the alignment with our reality of one's true self. That's what roots, as in the cosmic roots, means. Reality of one's true self, or our true self. Okay? So that's what the intention of the show is all about. Cosmic Root Show is to expand consciousness and to assist energetically in our alignment with our authenticity, and to navigate through these highly energized times of a lot of uncertainty and all of that business. As you see, the system's collapsing. People don't know whether they're coming or going. And when you got stuff going on worldwide, you know that this is a big energy going on, and it has been on the rise for a long time, but it's now amplifying and getting stronger. 1 second here. So what I wanted to go into last Tuesday, I was talking about okay. So last Tuesday I went into about the nature of the soul, and we had Brother Gita also called up near the end. And what I'm gonna deal with here is I'm gonna be dealing with this new moon in Scorpio. There's a lot of scorpionic energy really big and full, and when you're dealing with the scorpionic energy, you're dealing with the Plutonian power. You're dealing with the soul energy, and you're dealing with the underworld. So we've had this new moon on Monday, okay? Or was it Sunday? I think it was Sunday, yo. And anyway, the energies are still strong here now. And we've also had the Mercury retrograde. We're in it now. So the Mercury retrograde began on the 31st of October. So now we're in November, the 5th of November. Hang on a second. Isn't the 5th of November supposed to be what they call Guy Fawkes Night? Yeah. Interesting, huh? Hang on a second. Brother Bless, you in the studio?
Yep.
Yeah. You heard I just mentioned Guy Fawkes Night and how it's fallen on the 5th of November, which is actually Scorpio energy. We're dealing with life, death, and rebirth. And we have this festival, or in all right, over here you got it Halloween, not Halloween. You got what they call it, the Night of the Dead, basically Guy Fawkes Night, and some other
Yes.
folks call it Halloween, and some folks call it
It's not Halloween.
Venom.
It's Guy Fawkes night, isn't
Hi
it?
there,
Yeah, Guy Fawkes, isn't it?
you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a whole heap of things dealing with this energy. Some dude who's burnt at a stake, yeah, and something to do with trying to overthrow the government, and dealing with the what was it, the London Bridge?
Tower of
Parliament.
London.
I think it was the Tower
Yeah,
of
yeah,
London.
yeah,
That was it.
yeah. He
Tower
tried
of
to.
London.
It basically, it's a religious thing. The Pope tried to get rid of King James, isn't it? So they sent in
Yeah.
some guy named Guy Fawkes to burn down, to blow up the place, but apparently
Yeah.
he got caught,
Him get catch,
and then they burn down, and then they burn him, and then
Yeah.
and then now you have a culture that celebrates the burning of a man.
Well, look, it's also, we have a culture and also other ethnicities who actually worship the death of a man. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of, when you see this death cult thing, and we're in Scorpio season, so it's interesting how, why the 5th of November and how that links in with Scorpio. Mwah. Yeah? And then we're dealing with Christianity, religion, which, when you're dealing with the teaching of eternal life, which is what was supposed to be the main body of the teaching, the Christ consciousness teaching, instead you don't get that. You're just getting really people worshiping the death of a man that's supposed to have died for people's sins, which means they're missing the mark. So there's no responsibility or personal responsibility for anybody to make any changes within their state of consciousness and choices and decisions they make. And you just believe in a guy who died for you, and now it's all about the death of Jesus, not about the eternal life. You see what I mean? Which was at the core of the teaching. You there?
Yeah, yeah.
You see? So what happens here is that when we, there's the saying, look, where you focus attention is where your energy is going. And a lot of our attention is very much on death, destruction, suffering and pain. And then this becomes a kind of a mindset that we carry as to say, well, look, this is what, the whole world wants to destroy us. You get certain people have a group collective mindset like that. But when you're unaware that your own thoughts, for example, is vibration. Feelings are vibration, and they're conscious, and they're intelligent, and they're creative. And when we deal with ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt, ancient cultures, they were dealing more with the afterlife and seeing that more as a reality than this physical, temporary experience we're having here. But yet their idea of what is considered death was very different to the way we have in the modern day society, how death is looked upon. You're losing someone. It's a time to mourn. It's a time to be sad. It's a time to fear. All of these type of ideas about it. But death was not the end, which is how, people are afraid of something coming to the end, something they're cherishing, something they're holding on to. You see, the attachment, emotional attachment. That links to the moon as well. Emotional attachment, emotional security. That is that governed by the moon too. You see? So it's interesting how this new moon we have in Scorpio that happened on Sunday, and the energy is going to be strong up for 10 days, and then the actual the energies that have been activated to deal with the deeper theme of what Scorpio represents is going to go on for another 6 months. So when you're dealing with Scorpio, you're dealing with the soul. And when you're dealing with this whole idea of life and death, it's this mystery about what happens after this physical experience. Where do people go? So we have this idea of death. And death actually comes from the word Darth, where you might have heard the word Darth Vader, yeah? Well, you're dealing with a Kabbalistic tree, and Darth represents the abyss, this darkness that you have to pass through, the nothingness, as a way of moving through towards the ultimate light or the ultimate realization. You see? And so death is the ultimate letting go of the illusion that we have identified with and created a certain reality, a personal reality out of, or a collective reality. Because if you've got a group of people resonating in the same way, resonating on the same belief, holding and charging it, then they become a collective group mind of that state of consciousness. You see? Now, are you there, my brother Bless?
Yeah, but I'm gonna go and do something in a minute because I gotta get
All
something
right.
else sorted out. So I'll be back in about
Well,
15 minutes or so. But me just
all right.
listen still though.
Yeah, all right. Well, give thanks. And thanks for kickstarting the show because I don't know what happened to the music. But anyway, we'll sort that out.
All
But,
right. What would it be?
yeah.
I don't know. I don't
Okay.
know what it would be. You got something. I don't know. It's just a I don't know. I
So,
tried my one
everybody.
today. You know what I did?
Yeah.
I
What?
got the exact same thing that you had.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I tried it today, and it worked fine. I actually
Well,
used
bro.
it. I actually used it today.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere else, and it worked fine.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
anyway, the
this
show
worked
is
fine
not
when I was doing
about
the
that
Skype.
still.
Say it again?
No, I said it did work fine, but the show's not about technology really. But I'm just letting
Not
you know
really.
my one worked
But
fine,
it's
so I don't know what you're doing
yeah.
wrong.
Well, I'll get it worked out. Get it sorted out.
Yeah, just
But
bring it. Yeah, go on.
yeah. No, I'm just gonna say thanks though. You know what I mean?
I'll be back in a little while. I gotta go and sort out something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Okay.
'cause I just came up here to see what I go on and thing.
Yeah.
I'll be
Yeah,
back in a
I
little while.
understand.
So what are you
Engineering
talking
and
about
team, that's
anyway?
part
What's the
of
show?
the
What's
team.
the show? Today's show?
Well, as I was going into it, talking about it's it's about empowerment. It's about power, and relating it to the new moon in Scorpio, and how we got the Mercury retrograde, and then I'm gonna go deeper into the whole thing to correlate it. You know how I tie things up together. So by the time the end of the show, it's fully explained. You see?
All right.
So, yeah.
Back in a little while.
All right.
All right, cool.
Okay. All right. So, yes, soul brothers and sisters. So, this new moon in Scorpio is also correlating to mm, a, something new, something of a something that basically old ways, old temperaments, old states. It's really about moving into a new state of awareness. Because when you're dealing with Pluto, you're dealing with the soul, y'all. When you're dealing with Scorpio, it's the soul. You're dealing with the deeper inner. This is where you go deeper in the woodly to yourself. You see, and you're also dealing with the desire nature. You see, the desire nature of the soul. This is what is the baseline, bottom line of all of what perpetuates and facilitates soul growth and evolution. Evolution is a continuous unfoldment. If you look at the word, that's what it means to unfold, evolve, to unfold. And just like a plant, just like you see the seed of a plant grows, it buds, and then it goes, you see the bud, and then those buds slowly unfold until it fully expresses what it is, okay, as if it's going to be a flower. So we have an innate infinite potential which is unfolding as it steadily emerges from within to become the full expression of whom and what we are. But at the moment, what we're experiencing of ourselves, based upon the beliefs and the ideas we hold about whom and what we believe ourselves to be in reality, it keeps us in those limited states and places. Because as a man thinketh, so shall he be. Come, right? So these are, old statements even in the scriptures and that, but the cosmic science, this is about the science of your consciousness. But it's a lot of folk, you see, you got the world telling you who you are and trying to mold and shape you to that. And then you got who you intrinsically is, all right, which is what one has to wake up to, align with, and be. But what's happening is that we're having a lot of deep, intense. Um, we're going to be thrown deeply, intensely into that darkness, so to speak. You see, that darkness, the unknown. What dark can symbolize the unknown. Darkness can also symbolize ignorance. Darkness can also symbolize that which is growing and maturing into greater power in the dark. You see, which is, which is, you know, which is what you get with growth. You plant a seed in the soil, it's growing in the dark. An embryo, woman conceives to have a child, it's growing in the darkness of the womb. So darkness is also about development. Like you go into a dark room um, to actually develop a picture, a photograph, a light image. Photo is light and graph is image. So you got to go into a dark room in order to develop, you see, camera reel. So darkness has a lot of positivity to it, but darkness can also denote something that is not so positive, as so to speak, like being ignorant to yourself. Very that's not going to be a very good darkness to be in. You see what I'm saying? So when we're dealing with a Scorpio season, is also when you're dealing with the Scorpio or archetype. You're dealing with life, death, and rebirth. You're dealing with an alchemy process. You're dealing with an inner alchemical process, right? You have to journey through the dark. There's a stage in your life that you have to go through the dark to emerge to the light. You see what I mean? And these are metaphors. So when you're dealing with Scorpio, you're also dealing with the underworld. And you have people, we're walking on the top of this earth, what we call this planet. When you think of the underworld, people think is what you're going to be digging, from where you're standing to go and do some investigation in the underworld. You know what I mean? People are buried in the earth, and these were terms to say now they've gone to the underworld. Okay, you have terms about the earth is not solid, it's hollow, and that there's an inner world to this planet. Yeah, so they have discovered caves and caverns, hundreds of miles deep, and these caves are not just rugged rock and natural kind of type of erosion. You're dealing with design. You're dealing with like cathedral-sized caves, which have been carved out, and you can see it was designed for people to inhabit. So these are old things, and now they're going deeper into the ocean and finding old relics of what they would say is Atlantis, or you're seeing old statues, things that have been buried for hundreds or thousands of years are now kind of coming up to the surface to be revealed. So that's also what the Scorpionic energy is. What's been hidden in the dark is to become and be revealed to the light, okay, to conscious awareness. Now, there's a lot of things not everything in the dark that's going on is stuff that wants to be brought out to the light. But you're dealing with a force that everything has to come out to light. You see what I mean? Because that's the nature of life. Life is about expression, growth, forward progress, and always creating that which goes beyond what has gone before. So everything always becomes expressed or experienced as a fresh new thing. So the new moon again in Scorpio, this is also giving the opportunity for to make a new choice, to make a decision to do with your innermost self to come anew. You see what I'm saying? So you're dealing with a lot of these concepts. You're dealing with a lot of these aspects when you're dealing with now this Plutonian or Scorpionic energy. So you're dealing with the soul, and this is not something that's just going to go away. What gets in the way of the soul's path can never remain in there indefinitely. So there has to be a process that helps and supports the soul from getting stuck in repetitive karmic cycles. Because It's the soul. It's you're here because the will of your higher self enabled you to be incarnated here in the physical form, the mental, emotional, and physical creative vehicle that you have adorned to have a personal experience for the soul's sake. And so therefore the world will teach you about chasing after worldly desires and values. And by obtaining and through obtaining these worldly desires and values, you will achieve happiness or success, or eventually now begin to believe you are enough, or to be accepted, or to be validated by others. All of these things, in the way the world has you, taught us to value what is taught us to value. This is what governs people's idea of life and governs people's idea of who they believe themselves to be and what they pursue from a worldly perspective or worldly ambition. And it's all about this pursuit of happiness. And it's always about something that is external, separate, outside, away from you, that you have to work with so much effort to obtain. You see? And even people who have obtained things that others may not have obtained, and they observe, wow, look how this person's materially secure, look how they're financially secure, look how they got all of these possessions, big house, beautiful cars. Look at them. They have it all. You heard that term? They have it all. You know, and this is coming from a worldly view, a worldly conditioning that is telling you that your value and your source of happiness is to be obtained by pursuing the worldly ideas of value and success outside of yourself. Now, Scorpio is not about outside of yourself. Scorpio is about inside of yourself. And Scorpio is also about merging with another. So it's also about others that you want to merge with. Hence why Scorpio is also about sexual energy. So whether you have the sun sign in Scorpio, whether you have your moon in Scorpio, whether you have planets in Scorpio or no planets in Scorpio, you have that scorpionic energy and aspect to yourself because Scorpio correlates to the awakening of soul consciousness. It correlates to the desire nature of the soul, the deeper desire nature that when you are unconscious of the why behind why you desire something, whatever it is, then you feel compelled when that desire becomes strong. Yeah, when it gets intense and strong enough, it will pick your body up and propel you towards that which you desire. But when you are compelled, it's like you have an unconscious compulsion, not in your conscious control, of being motivated and directed by a power that you don't, that is mysterious to you. And some people feel that they are, they even say that they are, it's like, they're at the mercy or at the fate of this compulsion. They cannot stop. Some people can be compelled to drink. Some people compelled to smoke, compelled to eat. You can have a compulsion for anything. But the thing is, it's a desire. And when you do not know the why behind your desire, you do not know why you are desiring whatever you're desiring. It leads you to make choices that you're unconscious of even why you've made that choice. Now, from a choice, it sets up the cause and effect to basically become a result. Every action has a reaction, and every force also has a opposing force to it. Hence why you will have a thing when you're dealing with you want to kind of move in a certain direction, and you may end up facing opposition, you see, that opposes where you want to go. And that's part of nature. That's that's called the contrast in things. In order for you to use that contrast to make you clearer in what it is that you prefer, so you can then focus with determination, that then pushes you through and past the opposing forces for you to obtain what you desire. You see what I mean? This is the reason why they say that, some people believe if something doesn't, if you don't, if you didn't work for something, then you don't feel that you really deserved it. But, there's a worldly things that these beliefs make you then justify having to work hard for the rest of your life. And you can only, um, nothing can come to you without great, great, great effort and struggle. And that's not true. But these are ideas that we energize and give a reality to. It becomes your personal reality if you believe in such things. Because the whole thing is that your belief is not what has the power, it's you who is the power, giving your belief that that importance, which then becomes part of your own personal reality. Because the creator, the mystery, Scorpio, yeah, the mystery of life, the mystery of death, the mystery of rebirth. This is what is at the back of all the questions people really have. And you can only find the truth of that answer within yourself when you seek to know the truth of whom and what you are. See, we define ourselves or allow ourselves to be defined by exterior, the world, the worldly forms. What people outside of you, whether they're family, friends, acquaintances, or foes, enemies, what they say to you, what you hear what you hear outside of you being said. These things are also what can be taken on board from the world. And then that begins to shape you and define you because you're not defining yourself. Or you may use what you receive from the world to define yourself and believe that these are your own thoughts. So Scorpio is also about what we also absorb from others, what we also absorb from outside, what we absorb from society, what we absorb from family, what we absorb from cultural conditioning and social constructs that we then may take responsibility for, and how that affects the way you perceive yourself and what you create in your life based upon the way you now feel about yourself because of what you've taken responsibility for. Someone else's energy that they have been sending to you or abusing you with. And this is a time where by the end of this retrograde, it's going to be a bit of a long one, y'all. By the end of this, you're going to be a completely different being. But there's going to be a whole heap of stuff that's going to have to come up from the depth, from beneath, to the surface, to be purged. Because Scorpio is also about purification, purging. So when I'm even using the term Scorpio, I'm basically saying you're dealing with the energy activations. This is all an aspect within yourself. You contain it all. Okay? The whole entire universe is within you as consciousness. But what I'm trying to keep it on this show this evening trajectory is about the deep emotional intensity that is prevalent now. And what is coming up from the depth, the underworld, to the surface to be revealed for the purpose of being purged, purified. Like toxins, they can't remain in the body. They have to come out of your body in order for you to become well if you are being riddled by toxicity. It's also the same with relationships, and I'm not just talking romantic. I'm talking about people you associate with, groups you hang with. You can even you got relationships on all levels. You got relationship with food. You got relationship with your clothes. You got relationship with electronic gadgets, technology. You have a relationship with people, persons, places, things. You got relationships on all levels. Okay, different levels. So that relationship also has an impact on you. Yeah, energetically, mentally, emotionally, physically. So we're dealing with a deep transformational and transmutational energies now, and the fear of death. Look, man, You're getting folk just ringing up, look, amount of people just popping on. Um, but it happened. Death is a part of life. Here's the thing: death is a part of life. But if you don't understand what life is, to know who you are as life, then you're seeing death as something separate, as an antithesis, or you're dealing with death as an adversary to life. You know, just like you got devil is an adversary to God. So when you're looking at death as an adversary to life, rather than understanding what is being called or termed death is actually a part of life. And life can neither be created nor destroyed, because life is the creative power. It's the animated principle that gives life and form to that which is being animated. You see? And life and awareness to that which is being animated. What is being animated cannot be animated without the great life principle. So you're dealing with this whole thing about life, death, and rebirth. So I've now said that life and death are actually related, because death is a part of life. But the way people perceive death as the end and it's all over and there's nothing ever to ever be shown again, that is limited beliefs, and that is not real. That's not true at all. You even see it within nature, man. Look, now we hit the fall, we're moving into winter. You're not seeing all those blooming trees and blooming, leaves on the trees and flowers and bees and all of that stuff that comes out when you're dealing with summer. So now you see you're seeing things wither and die, and the life sap is receding now and going back into the earth, back to the roots, right back to the depth. Okay, the depth towards the source. Okay, it's going back inward after having all of its expression of its energy being used up. Then that life sap energy goes deep, goes back and recedes back to the source, the inner source, the center. You see, and then when we go through that period of that cycle of autumn and winter, we end up having what we consider spring, where life springs forth again. And then we end up having summer, where you get the full growth of that which is of life to express itself, of life expressing itself. That happens during the summer. So what I'm saying is, right there and there, you're seeing resurrection. What you're seeing as death in one way turns into the resurrection in another. So life and death is related, to show you that there's no such thing as death. What you're dealing is transformation. You're dealing with transformation and transmutation. Now, transmutation is different from transformation. Transmutation is more about the moving of the shape and form into something other than what it was before. Completely different, like a caterpillar and a butterfly. They call that metamorphosis. Well, that would be transmutation. You see? So, and transformation is more about the changing of the thought forms, see, and energy forms of structure that one has been using to build with. Okay? Trans means to move beyond the past or present thought forms that are limiting. And through transforming, you end up having a different reflection of your reality, your personal reality and experience, because your thoughts are creative energy packets that when you focus your attention upon them, that gives it life. And then you are creating on a personal level your reality. But because this whole idea of the creative life principle has been considered as something separate and outside of yourself, and someone else doing something to you or something else, then your power, the creative power innate within you, now becomes transferred away from yourself, and now you're giving life to these ideas that you don't want to experience. Y'all can hear you, brother. It's like you're sitting in the living room with me, man. Bless. Oh man. the microphone's on. You're talking to somebody else. So yo, so this is what's going on. So deep emotional intensity, things are going to be coming up to the surface in order to become transmuted. Okay? Dark thoughts that you have, fears that hold you back from being fully who you are, fears that keep you in a prison, because how you energize those fears and how they limit you from expressing more of the authenticity of you. The fear of not being accepted, the fear of not being, not being accepted, the fear of rejection, thoughts, these fears, these are going to come up in the mind to be observed in order for one to realize it's time to get rid of those things. See? You can't move forward with those type of fears. And fears really come from, again, ideas that we believe in, either about ourselves or about the world. So the new moon in Scorpio correlates to the soul, and I could talk astrologically about Pluto and squaring Mars right now in Libra. Pluto's in Capricorn, squaring Mars in Libra. So there's a deep inner reflection going on here right now. Deep inner reflection. Capricorn's a feminine sign. All earth and water signs are feminine. All air and fire signs are masculine. Because of their nature, it gives off energy. It expresses itself. That's masculine energy, directed power. All right. Feminine is what receives. You penetrate the soil, the earth, in order to plant a seed within it, in order for it to be gestated and held like a baby in a womb, right? So that's earth sign. Water is also nurturing and emotions, flows. That's feminine. Okay, it's receptive. It's magnetic. Earth is kinetic. Water is magnetic. You see, so air and fire is electric. You see, so you got the masculine and feminine within the whole of, you're dealing with principles, not personalities, because personalities are conditioned constructs. And what one woman think of themselves as a woman, another woman doesn't see herself as that. Or the conditions that are put upon men to be a particular way, that may not be what that aligns with another man. Or again, women, you just, here to wear skirts and to be driven in a car. Now you got women, women wear pants and drive cars. Does that make them no longer women? So when you get limited definitions or earthly things to define, or you use worldly definitions, these limitations to define who you are, you limit yourself to identify with the clothes you wear rather than the essence and the power of the divine life force, consciousness of yourself, of who you actually are as a being. That life that can never be, is not created or destroyed, but only moves through and changes through forms. You see, that life, death, rebirth, you got the rebirth now. So give you an example through the seasons, as I just said earlier, how what appears to be dead in one instant comes back to life in another instant. And you observe this through the seasons, So it's not something that is so diabolical that it cannot be comprehended or fathomed. But it's when we have to relate this to ourselves to understand life itself. What is life? You see? So this new moon is bring up a lot of these things related and associated with the soul. Okay? Who you are beyond the mind you say you have, and how you think and what contents within it. Who are you beyond the emotions, the emotional state, your emotional pattern, the way you feel based upon your personal experience that leave you in a certain emotional state that you relate to? Who are you beyond that? And who are you beyond the physical form, the body that you carry, the way you look, the way you appear to others, the way you look or how you feel according to this body about yourself? Who are you beyond that? These are the these are the deeper questions of the scorpion power within ourselves, or the scorpion energy that asks the why. Why am I the way I am? Why are other people the way they are? Why do I feel this way about that and somebody else doesn't feel that way about that? Why do I behave this way? Why do I feel to, you know what I'm saying, uh, be be a certain way, and this other people are choosing to be a different way? Why? Why am I this? This is the questions of the Scorpio, because it's about that journey within, to uncover, to demystify, to unveil the true, innermost reality of your innermost self. So Scorpio is about the innermost self. It's about going to discover, who am I really? Now, Scorpio and another sign, which is sextile to that sign in relationship, the relationship they have, is Virgo. Virgo is the only other sign that has that tenacity to ask that question. I want to know who I am. That deep introspective nature, that deep introspective um, attitude towards life. Virgo is the other sign that correlates to Scorpio. To want to know, who am I truly? What am I truly? Why? You know, why, the what, the where, and the how. You see? So this is the soul's question. Always wanting to know why. Because it's the soul, you, the indestructible consciousness, that which always stays intact through lifetime to lifetime and lifetime. Yeah? That you is what wants to know direct whom and what it is. It wants to remerge with the source of itself. Because to know something, people can tell you, and you have an intellectual, mental, maybe comprehension, and you can say, yeah, all right, I get that. But until you have your direct experience of that, you don't really know. You're just living up to somebody else's experience. So the soul doesn't deal with that. Not like the personality. The soul is about direct knowing. You see? It's not about believing, it's about knowing. But you have the creative power, energy of the soul, as the soul, that when it focuses, directs its creative energy towards anything, any idea, then that idea starts to be given life to. So you can believe something that is not in aligned with the universal truth, but because you are the universal truth, you are the creative power, then you can give life to that belief. You can give life. You can have that could become your personal reality, what you are personally creating as a co-creator, as a creative consciousness. See? So we are dealing with some intense emotional energies, and things can be explosive like a volcano. You see, when you're dealing with these deep-seated energies, deep in the dark, it's like a dormant volcano that, is being dormant. Its activity is being so deep, so dormant, that it appears to be inactive. However, you all know what volcano you like. When you least expected, or when you least suspected that volcano was active, it erupts and it transforms the entire terrain around it. It destroys every damn thing adds in close proximity. But with a volcano, what it destroys, it also is laying a foundation for a brand new creation. That's the plutonic power of your soul. Transmutation, destruction in order to reconstruct anew that which transcends what has gone before. So you see, life and death are related. When we look at things in a separative way, you fear one thing and you cling to the other, you're creating an imbalance in yourself based upon a misunderstanding. And there's a saying, only a fool leans upon their misunderstanding. Because if you're misunderstanding something, then you're missing the mark. And if you're missing the mark, you're sinning. But if you have the humility enough to allow yourself to be corrected if you misunderstood, so you can now get the right footing and balance up yourself to stand up right, then you will be guided to the light, within yourself. You will be all right. You will then be in alignment, you see. But when we lean upon misunderstandings and we want to not let go of that misunderstanding, then that's the reason why folk like that are considered fools. Not because they misunderstand, but because they choose to hold on to their misunderstanding. They revoke and, repel wisdom or knowledge. They just want to hold on to their rigid thought constructs given to them by the world and their experiences that they have had in this world that they use to define themselves absolutely. When that's a limitation. You see what I mean? So the soul don't want none of that. So what's happening is that we're going through this period where the soul is choosing to get rid of everything, anything that does not reflect its true nature. So there's going to be the point where people are going to be feeling that they are stepping into their power. Because to feel disempowered is not something Scorpio likes, and not something I wouldn't say many people like. But then people got a funny relationship with things. You got people who actually want to feel they want to be dominated. You got some people who like to be submissive. You got people who look at power as something that gives them, they see power as telling other people what to do, telling other people how they should be, what they should think, what they should believe to what they should believe. You got power based upon the abuse of other people because people have such influence, they can get other people to do things that they may not, normally do if they weren't being persuaded by such an influential person who's got such and such idea of power. People see having a lot of money gives them power. People see driving in a particular car gives them a sense of power. You see, personal power. You see, people in particular positions in life that has influence over other people's lives. That's that kind of sense of power. Okay, you got military power. You got people who feel they got power because they got a weapon of destruction that threatens your life or another person's life, which therefore can get them to direct that person to do what they want them to do more persuasively because they have that kind of power. You see what people see as power. Fear. You put fear in someone more than they can put in you, then you have power over them. This is this whole thing about power. All right. You got people who use others to empower themselves. You got people who dealing with power to empower themselves at the expense of others. Okay. So you got people who will fight for this sense of power. They feel it's slipping away from them. Then you got people who don't feel they have any power. They feel powerless. rather than powerful. You see? So this is gonna bring up um, this idea of power, yo, as well. Power. Hmm? Some people believe to be able to destroy, just demolish something is power. You see? But what is power? What is power and what is the true use of power? All of those are questions of the Scorpio. So you see how everything I'm saying correlates within this theme of Scorpio, new moon, but it's not limited just to people who either got their sun sign or moon sign in Scorpio. This is correlating to your soul, each and every one. All those souls out there, all right? Soul brothers and sisters, all things that got, all that which has soul, yo. Because soul is the immutable, indestructible consciousness, which is you, that has lived through prior lives through this and will live more life after this personal experience you call life this moment. So it's about really going deep within yourself, taking your awareness rather than focusing your awareness outside of yourself to what the world is telling you, to what TV tells you, to what newspapers say, whatever's going on or not going on with Brexit, to what's going on with your next door neighbor, what's going on with who. You got people want to use their energy and just gossip about other folk, all right? And that's how they're using their time and energy, not realizing that when that energy builds up to a certain point, it's going to come back on them. So you got folk who use their time and energy with the gossip, negative shit. The backbiting sting of a Scorpio, rather than more of the healing, regenerative aspect that Scorpio also carries within it. And then the higher level of Scorpio is basically the wisdom, the phoenix, yeah, rising out of its own ashes. This is when the Scorpio directed individual has woken up to who they truly is, and have transcended all the lower parts and the lower levels of consciousness to ascend into more higher and divine states of being. You see? So Scorpio can be the highest or the lowest. So you're dealing with the underworld, you're dealing with the dark, shady places where things that are very unsavory and even foul in its smell occur. You're dealing with the deep, dark underworld of where rat nyam rat-tan, dog nyam dog, because you're dealing with power and vulnerability and what people will resort to in order to survive, you see. Those are some deep places Scorpio can be. So they say that the greatest sinner, the greatest saint was the greatest sinner. You see? So there are things that you really cannot judge. Because look, out of manure, which is called shit, you get what? You get food that you eat from. You see? So that's what the earth is. It is manure, you know what I mean? So out of bad things, something good things can come forth. But if you have a very fixed, rigid, judgmental, biased, dogmatic, orthodox, point of view, then bad is bad according to you and good is good according to you. And this is how you want other people to, stand in line, walk that rope, walk that line according to those rigid, fixed parameters of what you believe good is or bad is. And Scorpio is a fixed sign. So Scorpio can be either for you or against it. There's not an in between. So there's a need to find balance. Okay. When you're dealing with power, how do you use power? What's the right way to use power? What is power? You see what I mean? Why do you feel powerless? Or why does someone else feel powerful? Now, true power comes from within. Be self empowered, be in a state of personal empowerment, which does not require you to be dominating or having control to abuse others through that power. We're talking about true power that can only be found within, which is creative power. Now, creative power gives you the power to create whatever personal reality you choose to create, independent of whatever's going on outside of you, independent of what possessions you may feel you need to acquire or attain in order for you to be able to create. See, this power can never be taken away from you, but you can give it up by transferring that power to things outside of yourself, which only empower the thing outside of yourself, not you. Hence why people can be left feeling powerless, while what they've transferred their power to, whether it's through fear, intimidation, ignorance, that's what gets more powerful. You see, because you're pouring your power into that which is external to yourself, and then lead, and then having that to have power over you, influence over you. Direct you where you should go or what you shouldn't go, and all of that type of stuff. You got people, you got relationships like that, right? So, new moon and this Mercury retrograde, because it's the retrograde here that's going to make you retrospect. See, this underworld, you have to understand, is not something outside of yourself under your feet. The underworld is that which is under your eyelids when you close your eyelids to the outer world, where you go under, just like you go under the covers or under the quilt, the sheet, when you want to go to rest. This is the underworld. That is the underworld, that which is in you. So, this is why it's deep. This is why it takes courage to go into the depth. That's why the hero's journey is always about him having to go, he or she has to go into the underworld. See? Themselves, to know themselves, to confront the erroneous thoughts and beliefs that are manifested as the fears, the monsters, the obstacles. See? The tests of deception, tests of trust, the test of betrayal, all of these are these tests that a hero goes through, the hero's journey. This is each and every one of us, but you have to have the courage to go past the horizon, this world, because it starts with this world you're in. Okay, the hero who goes on his journey starts from this world. He starts from the outer world, isn't it? He's just living a regular life, caught up in the social conditioning, caught up in the societal engineering conditioning, cultural conditioning. He's caught up in the programs of the world, what you're told from the outside, people, places, and things, who you are, what you're supposed to be. what's reality, what you should believe, what's your truth. That's the outer world. And that's where the hero comes from, right? And then he gets a calling. Something happens where he has to now go and venture to a land that's unknown to him. And then the hero is either getting preparation by a mentor to prepare him. That could either be an individual or something in life, a big shock, you know, that puts you in a different state. Hmm? Then you start to go and, some people start to enter into the darkness, yeah, depressed, yeah, because of the thoughts they're entertaining, you see. So what I'm saying is that you got the analogy of going into the underworld, which is really representation of your inner world, okay, under your eyelids. That's what it's all about. And you need to have the courage to go into this underworld, to face what is there. And what you end up finding is that from the moment the hero takes the courage, takes heart, the courage is the heart. And courage means core or center or source or heart. Because the heart represents the center of anything, the heart up, whatever, yeah, that one is moving towards. It's going to be the heart of it, the center of that which you are journeying towards pursuing. Okay? So courage, the core, the heart, the center, the source. You have to find that center, that core within yourself. So to face the dark. Here it is. Face the dark. And some folk don't want to deal with the darkness they got in themselves. Their judgment of that is all negative, and I said earlier that dark can have positive and negative connotations. Dark isn't always something that you have to perceive in a way that you want to, run away from. It's how you perceive this dark, you see. But you see, when you enter into the dark, in order to see in the dark, you need to have the light. That light, the ultimate light, what the light is symbolizing is the light of your soul, the light of awareness, the light of consciousness, awareness that makes the forms in the dark known. Without the light of awareness, you cannot see what's in the dark. It's incomprehensible, you see. So the darkness can represent that which is not being comprehended. There's a saying, there is the light shineth in the darkness, but the darkness comprehended not. So darkness can also be symbolic of ignorance, that which is not comprehended, because there's not the light of awareness to make the forms in the dark known. So when one is in the darkness or lack of comprehension, then what gets projected into the darkness, upon the darkness, is going to be the individual's fears, the ignorance coming out from what they don't know, or what they have been told but is not so, you see? So what you project now into the darkness is now the things that come back to you. You see what I mean? Not because that's what the nature of the darkness is, but because what you're projecting into the darkness. It's like a mirror. What you project into the mirror will only reflect back. You see? So, darkness. A lot of people even afraid of this term, darkness, to stay in the light. But it's only darkness that really gives light its quality. And we think there's only one kind of light, you see. There is light you don't see that is brighter than any flipping candle, any light bulb, even brighter than suns you see, called stars in the heavens. There's a light brighter than that. That light's within you, within us. So, yeah, this new moon in Scorpio is about tapping into or accessing untapped power within yourself. Um, this is about aligning with the souls who with which is who you is, because every this theme about the soul is gonna get stronger and stronger, yeah. Because hiding out and dealing with the complexes of the personality is reached to a point where it's holding the soul or people back from the full awareness of themselves that they are to actually be moving into in this time. Because you got a lot of also deceptive spirituality under the guise of spirituality. You got spirituality as a trend. You got meditation as a trend. Healthy eating is a trend. And when you got those who got agendas to use the trend that people are into, things, it's like pissing in the stream, contaminating the flow without interrupting the flow. So you've got a lot of agendas being played out under the guise of health, spirituality. It's the idea of meditation, you know. And what you're getting sold is just thought structures, mental concepts. Nothing to do with spirituality, nothing to do with real meditation. It's nothing to do with true health. It's just to do with an agenda that is using these vehicles of expression, vehicles of awakening for its own purpose. And you got a lot of people who buy into all of this stuff, especially, look, all the health thing, alkaline, 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 alkaline. You got people who will now hit you over the head with the alkaline Bible. And I've always said you have to go to words, man. What does the the root meaning of a word? What does it really mean? See, how can you just be dealing with, I'm telling you, things just become fads and trends, and people don't think. You see, they don't look within themselves because they don't realize the true guidance. Your true guidance comes from within you, your higher self. Your higher self is basically that which is the higher state of consciousness than your human consciousness of your personality that you're identifying with. So yeah, you know, yeah. So the guidance that comes directly from your higher self is really when we're talking spirituality, which is again Scorpio, dealing with the mystery of the unseen, the unseen world, the non-physical world, the unseen forces, the non-physical forces that exist, which impact and can impinge and influence the physical realms, the physical world. These are this is dealing with this is where you can have dark magic, so to speak. Black magic you call that, or white magic. I personally don't believe there's any black and white magic. It's your intention. You got fire. Fire can be used for food and warm water from cold, but it can be used to burn down the house or kill a whole heap of people. You know what I mean? Kill them wholesale. So the fire is just what it is. It's the direction of that fire, the intention, the usage of that determines whether it produces something of magnificence or destruction. See what I mean? So, but you're dealing with these forces, dealing with art, or what you call magic, black magic. You're just dealing with non-visible forces that can be gathered by individuals to be used for good or ill. Now, some people will define black magic, dark magic, as that which basically gets its way through um, destruction. know, it's about quick fix right now. You know, it's intense and will, even, you know, possess, control people in order for that kind of magic to fulfill the requests of its ancestors. See what I mean? And then you got the white magic, they say, you know, is all benevolent, it's all light, it's all healing, upliftment, goodness, growth. But you see, when you hold on to ideas like that, you might as well just still be a Christian who believes the devil, the devil. When you're dealing with two sides of the same coin, if you're going to think from a holistic perspective, you're sitting at fragmentalism, which is not holistic and it's distorted. So you're dealing with all of this as well. You're dealing with magic, power, magic, the word magi. Magus was the plural, I think, or magus was the singular, and magi is the plural. But this is where you get magicians from, the magi. An individual who uses his will to command the elements and forces of nature to fulfill, to create what the personal reality is that is desired of that individual or groups of people. And they can use that benevolently or malevolently. You see what I mean? The thing with all of this, though, is that based on the universal laws now, you will always bring back to yourself that which you have put out. So eventually, if you're using, whatever you want to call it, if you're going to use power, the invisible forces in a way that, that harms others and your setting of consequences basically when the energy builds up to return back to you. That's why people who sit there and gossip in their dark rooms about other people send venoms and dirty, nasty psychic attacks. Yes, you are sending psychic attacks. Your thoughts are vibrations. Your feelings is magnetical energy. Your thoughts are electrical. You see, here's this thing. You see, where people love to remain ignorant, as if to say, that's going to keep them in what they consider bliss, is that everyone actually, at some level of their being, knows that non-physical forces exist. Why I say this is that you got folk who will always tell you about they're praying for you. I'm sending you, benediction. I'm sending you, good vibes, or I'm praying for you and your family. Now, they're miles away from you, and they're telling, this is what they're going to say. Now, if you didn't believe the fact that, if you didn't have any belief that your thoughts, your transmissions of what you're conveying from your heart and mind, if you're sincere about what you're saying, you're sending to people, benediction. If you didn't have at some level of your being, your awareness that you must know and accept the reality of non-physical communication, non-physical transmission, where you're dealing with energetic communication that can travel and traverse distances, miles, thousands of miles, even out into space, huh? Without any wires. You must have some acknowledgement that that must exist. Otherwise, why the heck would you pray? Why would you be saying you're sending benedictions to anyone? Oh, I'm thinking of you. Huh? If you don't think that your thoughts are actually going out there and affecting people. If you wishing for someone to be healthy, and you're praying for them, then you must believe that your thoughts can reach them, right? So you must know that is non-physical, right? But yet, if you turn around and talk about magic, if you turn around and talk about People talk, you got Obia, different names. You got Voodoo. You've got Santarina. You got what? Wow, man, you got different systems, man. All right, people got their names they put on this stuff, but it's these non-visible forces, and you could be tuning into lower frequencies, man, low forces, man. Them things are vicious, malevolent energies, and you could be working with that shit and send that stuff. It's non-physical. You could be working with the highest energies, all that benevolent force, all that higher power. It's non-physical. You see, when you talk about that, folks, get scaredy and scaredy. But think about it. If you're talking about you praying to something, you sending people good vibes. I'm sending you healing. I'm sending you love. I'm sending you, to all you and your family and all of that. Then you must believe at some level of your being in the non-physical reality. You must be believing that, consciously or unconsciously. Otherwise, your prayers would have no effect whatsoever. This is how deep this is all is. Right? You're dealing with the non-physical reality all the time. But many choose to fear it instead. Their fears attracts to them that which vibrates at those fear frequencies. So they don't realize that they're bringing on certain things to themselves. You see? So you're dealing with the non-physical reality, the unseen, the unknown. These are just representatives. These are just analogies to depict the non-physical reality that you are a part of, and that majority of you actually is non-physical. And how real and more real that is than the 1% of visibility of what you're identifying everything, all of yourself to be. So Scorpio, new moon in Scorpio, initiating this deeper investigation into yourself. But there's a lot of benevolent energies around this deeper inquiry. So this is the reason why actually this could be a very self-empowering time, or a disempowering time if you have been one gaining power in by the means of draining others of their energy, or gossiping, spreading lies about people, and feeding off a certain energy that you use to attack. See, all this psychic attacks, all this stuff, that stuff goes on, yeah. Goes on. But you start and have to look at yourself. What are you? What are you saying and what are you feeling about yourself at the most deepest level of you? What and how do you really feel about yourself? Because this is where it is, all of this transmission is where it comes from. People who project what they reject in themselves to others. See? And want to attack, or verbally or physically, that which they don't like, they don't want to see, that they reject in themselves, but they want to ridicule in another. See, all of that goes on because what you reject in yourself, you will project in somebody else. So this is deep, intense emotional energy that's rampant here now, and how it's going to be used, how people are going to experience this. Well, it's complex. You can't say one size fits all. But it's about, ultimately, where is your true power? Where have you been neglecting your power, and and how are you going to take back your power? See, because the true power is within you. How you choose to use your power, it's down to you. But there is a consequence. Just like there's a consequence, there's consequences of everything. Every choice sets in motion cause and effect. Every choice. It springs from a desire. And the soul is desire. See? Desire, man. In Buddhism, with Buddha, who was a Taurus. So he was a Taurian and the archetype of what he came in as an incarnation under, that sign. But opposite Taurus is Scorpio. Scorpio. Hey, what was Buddha dealing with? He wanted to pierce the veil of matter to enter into the deeper mysteries of life in order to know himself. Yeah. Scorpio. Scorpio's polarity of Taurus. Buddha was saying what they say in Buddhism, that desire is what leads to suffering. Desire itself don't lead to suffering. It's when you don't know why you desire what you desire that leads to suffering. You see what I mean? Because desire is a part of life. Life itself desires to express itself. It desires to expand itself. It desires to express itself more fully. It desires to create. It desires to grow. You see? That's life itself. That's thyself. Desire. You know? And desires are related as a word. It relates to stars. Siddhar. Yeah? Look it up. I'm not going to tell you because I always do. Look it up to show that if you got the willingness, you will look it up for yourself. Type in the etymology of desire. Type in the etymology. Okay? Word. Etymology. Then you'll see the Latin behind that word how it's put together. Okay? So you do that if you that's what you're choosing. Yeah, you do that. 1 second, y'all. 1 second, y'all. Looks like I got a call. Greetings. Yo, brother Gita, how you doing? Yeah, I'm still on air. I'm gonna have to see if I can. Oh, hang on a second. Hang on. Let me put you on. Let me. I don't know why. Got this thing on tonight. 1 second. 1 second. I'm gonna put you through. See if I can catch you online, Peter. Yeah. Okay. Can hear you. Now, just want to see if I'm going to hear you online. I want to make sure you're heard, okay? Okay, so, yes. So, let me talk with you a bit there, Keita. I'll just put you up to speed, yeah, to what I've been talking about. It started with the new moon in, dealing with the new moon in Scorpio. But I'm going around the theme of how this is dealing with the deep underworld, and this is dealing with the soul, and this is dealing with the, there's going to be empowerment, feeling empowered or not empowered. Oh, you can't hear me? You can hear me now. Gosh. Hang on a second. I hear you. It's just that I'm on air now, and I'm talking, and those who are tuning in, I don't want it to seem like it goes blank. But I would like you to, we will get this together. I would like you to, come through. Can you speak a second? I think. Okay. No, you're not being heard yet. 1 second. No, can you hear my voice? Yeah, you can hear me clearly. I got an engineer near me. I'm asking them now if they're tuning in, if they can hear me. Yeah. Are you hearing me, engineer? Can you hear me? I mean, through the obviously the radio. Um, yeah, you hearing me? Okay. What I think, Gita, could you call me on the WhatsApp? That way, I think it will come through better. Thank you. All right. Yeah, yeah, because I'm not in the radio station, and this is my number now to call. Otherwise, I give people the number for the radio. Okay, thanks. All right. Yes. So, as I'm saying, yeah. So as I'm saying, man, this is some deep depth. And people are afraid of the depth. Afraid of the depth. And the thing is that look, you got the light when you look on the outside of yourself, but you got darkness inside. And I don't mean this to kind of see. You got darkness inside. Well, literally, yeah, there are dark aspects inside yourself if no light is hitting you. Okay. Um, 1 second. Yo, Gita, you're calling me on the normal line. You're not calling me on the WhatsApp. Yeah, no, just call me on the WhatsApp. Yeah, it's the same number, but what you're gonna do, you're just dialing me via WhatsApp instead of the network. Yeah. All right. Thank you. All right. Yes, soul brothers and sisters. So yeah, it's about new moon in Scorpio and the deep theme that it represents and what's coming up. So it's about your soul, and this is a good thing because it's the opportunity to get rid of all what comes up that is not reflectant of the truth of your soul's nature. Caller, are you there? Yes. Just seeing if you're being heard on the radio. Yeah. Engineer, you hearing me? Brother Gita, can you speak? Um, I think there's a time delay, so yeah, it's just a time delay. 1 second. Yeah, you can hear me, engineer. Hello? Can you say something, Gita? Yeah, I can hear you. I just want the listeners to be able to hear you too. This is what I'm working on. You know what I mean? I don't see what's happening here. Brother, I don't know what's going on here because it was working before when it was plugged into here when I did this sometime, and I'm hearing you. It's just that I need to hear if you're coming through on the radio. 1 second. Let me just ask someone here. I think there's a delay because I'm hearing myself as well. Yeah, you can hear me very clear. Um, um, you're right. Uh, all right. I've got this is louder. This is well loud. Um, that way went well loud. Just do some technical swings and roundabouts at the moment. You know. I feel it's possible. You know, I get persistent. Gotta make it happen. But it happened before. You know. So yeah. I'm just asking, seeing if someone is tuned into the radio, and they can hear if they only can just hear me. I don't know why they're not hearing you. And this is what I was doing before. Um, uh, 1 second. No. Yeah, well, I'm live on air, but yeah, this is what we're trying to work out. So someone's just said just me, right? Now I'm asking, I've just press something down here. Only me. Um, you gotta say something, Gita, my brother. Just talk to me. Talk to me what you have in your. All right. Okay. Uh huh. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Brilliant. Brilliant. Yeah. Um. Okay. This is why I want us to. Um. Oh gosh. See, while I'm talking, they can only hear me. But if you're not talking, they're not gonna hear you to be able to know if I've switched this correctly or not. Um. Yes, please. Just for a moment. Yeah. So what we were talking last about reality, personal reality. Go on. And knowing this, I said. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. Okay, what's happening? I'm getting some feedback saying that it's not clear at all. So I don't want you to say all this important stuff and folk ain't hearing you. Do you have that Skype? That all right. Yeah. Okay, there's something in the background being played as well, someone's saying, and I'm hearing it myself, but it's very faint. But it's not that our voices are being heard, you know? Yeah, I'm telling you, the technology, brother, well, yes, as I thought, but it's not doing the same thing now. So, you know, uh, 'cause I want us to go into deeply what you share, and you know, um, hang on, I've just been told can't, but now he's there. Voice is not coming through. I don't know what's going on, because if we keep moving things, we're not going to know when something's actually happening. All right, okay. All right. So I'm just dealing with some technicians here, okay, and they're assisting because they're listening back and forth. It sounds like interference, and I don't know why there is interference. Um, I don't know why there is interference. Um, yeah, I can hear something. I can hear it myself. I don't know. Um, I don't know who's playing what here. I don't know. Somebody in the studio? Anybody in the studio upstairs, y'all? Um, No, nobody's there, so I don't think it's something being played. Yeah. Um. No. Yeah. I've just been asked if you could call back on the. Um. There's a loud sound in the background. I don't know why. So well, you've already called me on the WhatsApp, so they think that you haven't called me on that. So, all right, we're gonna have to shut this down, yeah, because and but I want, you know what? Yeah, that's right. And you know what? Okay, and can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah, what I'm gonna say now on the show with people. I mean, the volume is going up and down here in my ears. What I will say is, let's make the next show you come in on. Plan. We're gonna work the show around ourselves, okay? Right? Where next Tuesday we're gonna come. You're gonna be on properly, okay? Yeah. Okay. This is gonna be your show, our show. All right. Okay, Gita. All right. Most certainly. You see, the thing is with some people, they love to listen, but they don't want to phone in because they're scared or they feel funny just to hear their voice on the radio. So I don't want to force them to do so. But it's not that there are not people who aren't, maybe you can entice them. You see, the thing is this, it has to be a thing where people, um, sometimes people don't feel that they can say anything on the subject because they don't feel confident enough on it. And sometimes some folk are just, they may not be contributing properly to it at all because they'll take it somewhere else from where we want to be taking it. But when well, the thing here is like with the also the Skype call and I can do some conferences and stuff like that. But some things it's not even about the simplicity because there are people who get this. There's many folk I know, but it's about them. When you want to say call in, that's a different show. That's a different thing. You see what I'm saying? You know. So anyway, we will pick this up. Yeah. Right. You know what I mean? And it's about it's about the things we talk about, the insecurities that the world has given people, and this is what they've internalized. Okay. And this is what we're here to try to do the inner work to kind of clear ourselves from these things, so we can bring forth our potential. Say that again. Yes. 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 Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But first, you have to acknowledge what the problem is. We can't just turn around and skip a DP, and just say, yo, you know? Mm, hmm What I've done in my experience, I mean, listen to what I'm saying. Excuse me. I've just put the microphone to your voice. And I'm listening to see if anybody can hear me. Okay? So I'm trying it. You know what I mean? Um, so they should be able to hear you. Very muffled, so it's not coming through.
Hello, can anybody hear me out there? Am I coming through clearly or do I still need some adjustments? Anybody hearing me? Brother Gita,
Yeah, I can hear you.
hello. Is it clear? Is it clear enough? speak on to my mouth. Is it clear now? All right. I think we tried our best, and it's not happening. So we'll do this next week. Yeah.
All right, brother.
So,
Okay, Gita. Yes. All right. Talk to you soon. Yes. Blessings. Love. No blessings. Okay. Yo, peeps. Yeah, this is the stuff, man. Oh, that's better. Someone said it's better. Now it's bloody late, though. Excuse me, y'all. But I mean, a lot of this slow thing. Now Gita's gone. Yeah. Now, yeah. All right. So we're gonna have to deal with this. Another. They're saying that's better, but you're gone now. I don't know what's happening there. They're saying, yeah, and I'm hearing the feedback myself of residue of the soul. So, well, hang on. Now it's okay. So maybe let me call Gita back and see if this can work. Yeah, I'm gonna call you back. Yo, Gita, it's me here. Let me see. Just try again, because I've been getting some slow responses. So when you came off the ear, someone said, "Oh, I can hear it. It's better." So let me just try again and see if this happens. Listeners, can you just give me a message, y'all? And let me know.
Hi, everybody. This is Brother Gita. Testing. Can anybody hear me out there?
It was difficult to hear him. They're saying, I need, faster typers. Okay, I can hear you, brother.
Oh, wow.
Yeah?
So should I continue
continue.
like this?
Huh?
What?
Okay. We're gonna have to, all right, say a few things, what you wanted to say, and then we're going to make this a proper show for next week. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, last week I came on very impromptu, and I came in and I was kind of, half jokingly saying that I wanted to kiss everybody.
Yeah.
And that was actually like a little bit of bait for Brother Sam to ask me what does that mean, which he did. Keep it simple, stupid, and if it sounds a bit too harsh, you can just say, well, keep it super simple. And I was saying this to say that, as we continue on our journey, on the path, whichever path, chosen path we're on, in the beginning, it's very complex, there's so many different roads may go down, I run into so many, dead ends, cul-de-sacs, listen to so many workshops and to the many teachers and up and down, But then after I'm speaking from my own personal experience anyway. After being on the path, I think I started in the early 70s. I took my first tentative steps on the spiritual path. And what I've come to realize in the latter end of my journey is that everything that I learned, experienced, can be consolidated into 4 statements. Yeah, and I learned that also our ancients, our ancestors, our teachers in the ancient times, they came from complexity to simplicity. Now, why is that? It's because when you're dealing with the spiritual aspect of reality, we have our left brain and our right brain. Yeah. Now, most of us are in what we call high entropy. Yeah, that is more of a left brain. It means a lot of activities going on in the brain, a lot of chaos and so on and so forth. High entropy. Yeah, and when we actually become more and more aligned with our spirituality, our authentic self, the way we do that is by lowering entropy. So the lower the entropy, the more we align with our authenticity. all of these different. Basically, I was speaking to people who have actually, like using the educational system as an example. You go to school and you start in the primary school, and secondary school, and so on and so forth. And you go all the way up to postgraduate. Yeah. Now, as you progress, the lessons become more and more complex. Yeah. But when you get to the position of your PhD, all the complexities of what you experience, what you learn, you can kind of codify them and present them very simply. In other words, you can keep it very simple. That is if you've actually learned, well, and you've actually qualified to hold that position. Because holding that position means that you should be able to take the most complex information and then break it down very simple that even the child can understand. Yeah. So some of us, we've been on the journey, and we've been immersed in so much complexity that we get in all of these teachings. And what that means is it's bringing in more of the intellect, yeah, left brain, right? And we find that in order to align with our spirituality, we have to come out of the intellect. We have to go into the beingness, the right brain, yeah? And we find that when we do that, everything becomes simple. Now, I think there's a kind of potential for there to be misunderstanding when you say keeping it simple, as if it's to mean easy. Simple doesn't mean easy. Some of the most, simple things to do, yeah, are not easy.
Yeah, that's a good point, because there is a certain association with simple and easy, when that's not the same. They're not the same at all. Go ahead.
Yeah. Now, for example, the simplest thing you can do to align yourself with your highest heroic probability is simply to sit down, yeah, quiet your mind, still your mind, and be still. As the Bible said, be still and know that I am God. Okay? Try it. if you can do that, for just 5 minutes, 1 minute a day, you will completely transform your reality.
Now, brother,
yeah? Because
just to inject there, you see, as simple as you just said, yes, just be still. Sit down, close your eyes, and be still. You'd find many people will talk about, but I got these thoughts, and I'm over here and there, and they can't be still. I know some folk, they cannot sit still for more than 5 minutes. They all this energy, I gotta move, I gotta this, become very restless. And it's the mind, very unruly. So
what did I say?
No, I'm just saying that what you simply said, just to be still. Okay?
No, I'm not. So I said,
yeah.
To be simple.
No, I know.
Easy.
I know. I was just agreeing with you, bro.
Yeah,
anyway, carry on.
Yeah. So, like everything, the more you practice, the better you get. If it was easy, everybody would be liberated and go home. So when the spiritual path is the warrior's path, yeah. Why is it the warrior's path? Because the biggest battles you will ever face in your life is the battles you create in your own mind.
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. There was this philosopher, he said that all my life I've been plagued by these, demons and bad, terrible things happen in my life, most of which never happened.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's all in your mind. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So the thing is, if we are in high entropy, yeah, then we attract more because it's basically the intellect, yeah, and it's mostly fear-based, yeah, service to self, right? And as I explained last week, when we get into service to self, you have to deal with the ego, you have to deal with the expectations, you have to deal with beliefs, yeah, you have to deal with needs, all these things are coming out of fear. They're fear-based, yeah. So we make choices, and our choices will have consequences, yeah. There's two types of choices we can make. We either make choices out of fear or out of love. fear means service to self in this context. Yeah. Love means service to others. Okay. Low entropy. Yeah. And the other one, service out of fear to self, is high entropy. Yeah. So our essential being, what we've come here for, is to come from a high entropy to low entropy, and become our authentic loving being that we are. And that's what we always, at the end of the day, we're all doing something, that when we've completed that thing successfully, we'll have a certain feeling. Yeah. And that's what we're doing at the end of the day. Yeah. Now, you see, the mind, the subconscious mind, it doesn't know the difference. There's no time there. So it doesn't know whether when you're feeling a certain way, whether it's feeling it for something that's happening to you now, yeah, or something that's happening to you in the past or in the future. You see? So when you try to, that's why I was putting emphasis on envisioning the grandest version of the greatest vision we can ever behold us to be who we really are. Yeah. And then you keep doing that. Yeah. And then that creates a kind of vibrational alignment with that part of you. Because as we're in this dimension, see, let me explain what dimension is. Dimension has many, many sub-dimensions. Yeah? And they're like mirror images of the original. Suppose now you're in dimension 3.7, 75, okay? There's also the lower dimension 3.65, 3.55, going down like this, and they all have the same mirror image, yeah? Performing the same activity, but you're doing it with less of the, or more of the ability that you have. For example, you get caught for speeding 3 times, yeah? So you're going to work the same way, but instead of going, you can't use your car now because you've been banned from driving. See? You still have to go, so it's much more difficult to get to work than if you had your car. Yeah? So similarly, if we are performing activities of high entropy, that's causing us, to come out of alignment with the lower entropy part of ourselves, then it's like we step back down the ladder. Now, the spiritual path is a path of, 2 steps forward, 1 step backwards, 4 steps forward, 2 steps backwards. It's never a straight line, So we do that from time to time, yeah? We go forward, and then we come back a bit, and we go forward again. But as far as we're going forward, all the time, we're good. You understand? So any questions about this?
Me?
That's what I've said so far.
Question?
Anybody? Yeah,
well,
anybody.
bro, if we had a conference room, then we could do that. But you're gonna be asking, you're asking the choir.
Okay.
You know what I mean? When we're talking to the choir. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna have to set something like this up, most certainly. And I think that conference calls. That's why you need to get that Skype thing going, bro. So we can get this happening like that, because it would. Really,
no, I'm not finished.
I know you're not finished, but I'm just saying so we really can, open it up like we're saying, yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. Let me just summarize everything. So I think now, like brother was saying, I'm preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah, I get that. But there's also assuming that those of us in the choir, who want to have some more direct,
more
experiential, and because the more we get into complexities, yeah, the more we come in embracing entity, which is not helping us. You see, we need to lower entity, and the way we lower entity is by performing activities, that are in that mode. Yeah, and the highest activity you can perform is service to others. Yeah, before you can serve others, you have to be able to know who you are.
Exactly.
And be grounded, and have something to give. Yeah? You can't give what you don't have.
Yeah.
Right. So the highest thing you can have, is divine love.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, when you have that, you can give love in abundance because you are that thing,
Yeah.
and we all are that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So that's how you can be. From my perspective, anyway. I don't know.
Now, I fully agree. I agree with that.
Believe anything was it.
Yeah, I know, but I resonate with
The
what you're saying.
the high service we can do for ourselves and for everyone else, every creature, every living being, is just to become, our authentic selves.
Yeah.
We are greater gods. That's who we really
Absolutely.
are.
Gita, because the time is coming up through, and if you did, if you called like an hour earlier, as such, we could have given you a whole hour on this one. But this has been recorded, and this is where we're going to pick it up from next strong. Yeah, because I mean, I've done how many? About 100 shows now, and the earlier shows and numerous ones, many ones you can listen back to. I'm talking the same thing in a different way to what you're saying about the mind and the intellect, and how a lot of this teachings and so-called spirituality is really a lot of mental concepts and structured thoughts rather than the actual direct experientialness of the non-physical reality of yourself. And this is where we have to bring our awareness more into the heart center, or our chest, because most of our awareness is in our heads and in our eyes and in our face, and a lot of people don't even realize there's this energy radiating from your spiritual heart through your chest. And when we say spiritual, we're referring to the non-physical you. And when we say heart, we're talking about the center of being. So the thing is that, but you have a physical reference, which is your breathing, your breath, to be able to become what your mind can focus on, to concentrate, which opens up the door towards meditation, right? So what it is that it's about bringing the awareness to the heart, where we're not so much in the head and identifying with the thoughts and the intellect and the thinking apparatus, and instead tap into the love intelligence, which is different to thinking and intellectual processing. It is where we observe and feel, the energy in our hearts, acknowledging that it's ourself. Because you were saying we have to come to the point where we actually realize we are the love. That's a lot of people are looking for love. I love you. Oh, I'm running towards the love. But to say I am love, to realize you are the love energy, you are the life force energy, which is love. This is something that has to be directly experienced before, one can go beyond the ideas we still hold on to, as if it's a spirituality, to go beyond the intellectual ideas. You see what I mean? Of what they believe love is, when it's a direct experience of yourself. Yeah. But
okay, let me just insert this in. So I was what you're saying is fine. I agree with everything. But where I was coming from was having more of a direct experience. See, we're living in a multi-dimensional reality. And our consciousness, what we can do with our consciousness and who we are as consciousness, the H5W of that. When we can speak on those levels, on those terms, then we can actually have access to our consciousness, and we can experientially, with evidence, that we've actually, done what we can do.
Well, this is
these other realms and so on and so forth. For example, the most the simplest and the most direct example, as everybody understands what is remote viewing, right?
Well, I don't think everyone understands it, but they've heard of it. But yeah.
Well, the ability to be able to
perceive non-local events, go anywhere, perceive in your consciousness anywhere in the world by just focusing on that target, that area. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Now, supposing you were shown a technique, that will enable you to do that and validate it, I think that would be something that you need to pay attention to.
Absolutely.
So that's where I'm talking about. So that
absolutely,
techniques like that.
Yeah. It's direct experience, man. This is the Trump. This is what everyone want to say the Trump. I mean, direct experience. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Direct experience is the pinnacle, basically, because this is what we're supposed to be living by. Connecting to our higher self and knowing we are the higher self, and through direct experience, we get direct guidance through direct connection with source within. to our innermost self.
The reason why we need to emphasize direct experience, because if something is not in your direct experience, it's not your truth.
That's right, and you don't know.
It's something that you've conceptualized or you heard from somebody or you believe. You know what I mean? But when you've experienced it yourself and validated yourself, and you'll be able to do it anytime you like, you know what I mean? It's not something that you made up or somebody said, it's yours. Yeah? It's your own reality. And that's the idea that we're here for. We're here to experience. Source has a predicament. Source cannot not be source. Source cannot experience itself unless it ways. That's the way. Anyway, this is another works, another.
But this is it, man. You know what I mean? So,
all of these things, we can talk about.
Yeah, we're gonna have to give. Yeah, we're gonna have the more of the hours for that, because you know what I mean. I love all of this, man, and it's like, you know what I mean. This is how, you know what I mean. What we increase each other's light when we're on the similar frequency, and then expanding the knowing. Yeah, that's right.
That's what the spiritual path is all about.
Yeah.
On the material path, there's always a winner or a loser. Somebody has to lose, somebody has to win. On the spiritual path, then everybody's a winner.
Exactly. All right, Brother Gita. Much love and blessings, my brother, and blissfulness.
Peace and blessings.
Yes, brother.
Wholeness and balance and vibrations.
Thank you, and to one and all. And we will pick this up next strong. So I'm gonna be in touch with you in the middle of the strong, just to make sure everything is on. Okay?
Cool.
No last minute changes and all of that business.
All right, brother. Peace and blessings.
You too. Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings to everyone.
One love. All right. Thank you, Gita. There you have, Brother Gita. Wonderful. I mean, this is one of the elders that I can sit down with and really properly listen with, too. And we share, our, as we would say, notes upon the path. So we're going to have a show next Tuesday where Brother Gita is going to be able to have a platform to fully expound upon the points he's making, or the when we're talking about direct experience. And what it is also to understand that, with the show this evening, with the new moon in Scorpio, and bringing it to, this is, you see, Scorpio is your soul. But it's also the process where we have to go through the deep, this psychological, emotional penetration with the deep questions, the why, okay, in order to transmute, to pass through these veils of ignorance, these worldly beliefs, these concepts, these mental conditionings, in order to attain the direct experience of ourselves as the soul, in order to know who we are, in order to triumph over this illusion. Because there's also the statements when we talk about, when you hear that, the greatest battle you would ever have to overcome is the one with yourself. And that Scorpio is also known as the great warrior, very heightened, intense tenacity to win. And what I mean by that is, like always, there's a statement talking about, when we say the rising, being triumphant. Well, that is talking about the soul. The soul will be triumphant against the darkness, which is the ignorance, which is the intellect, which is what is not known. Okay? The soul is what triumphs. Okay? So direct experience is going to have to be, and the methods of how we can directly access this for ourselves, going to be paramount as we move into the times more fully. Because so many people are depending upon external authorities in whatever area that you would consider them as an authority. The government and, these institutions, many people are very dependent upon what to think, what to believe, what to wear, what to feel, what to eat, what is supposed to be healthy, what's not considered healthy, what's safe to be, where's safe to go, what's not safe to go. All of this, there are people who are so dependent upon the exterior and these external sources of authority for them to even think and have another breath. You got some people who will be afraid of religion. For example, if you say that religion was to get, just get rid of a religion, you got folk who would say, but who's going to tell us what to believe? You have people who think like that. They've never looked in to think with their own thoughts, because even the thoughts they think with ain't even their own, but they believe it is. So when you are not gaining, if you don't have an awareness of how to connect and have direct communion with the source of your being, directly yourself, to have direct guidance, to be able to trust directly in you, the essence of you. So you are in alignment with the law of your being, which is a universal heart, which is a universal power, which as the fact that we are all interconnected and you are one with all, and all is one with you. You see, this term, I am one in all and all in one. Yeah, the one in all and the all in one, that's the individual. That's I. So what it is that if you, by realizing you are that which you've been seeking, you are the joy, you are the happiness, you are the divine eternal bliss, then that energy radiates to affect and impact all who comes into your facility, or you're tapping into what's also impacting the collective consciousness. You see what I mean? By being true to yourself, we radiate like the sun to also warm up those that are close to us, and goes on broader than that, beyond that. So this is how we make an impact in a benevolent way towards others. So in a way, you start with yourself in order to be able to connect with others. You cannot neglect yourself and expect to connect with others, because it's not going to be legit. It's not going to be authentic. You see? So yes, this new moon in Scorpio, the deeper discussions, deeper questions, soul expanding, yeah? Consciousness expanding, insights, questions, and curiosities in order to pierce the veil, okay? So thank you, Gita, for coming on and sharing the short space of time we did have. Thank you for the listeners who have still stayed, stay tuned in, and has been there. And yes, I'm going to have to call it a night, wrap it up, and we'll be there with you again next Tuesday from 8 till 10. 10:30 maybe, see how it goes, but it's from 8 to 10, and on Cosmic Roots Show. So yep, I bid you all a good shadow hour, and yes, peace, blessings, beloved essence, and yeah, we'll be right here again next Tuesday. Okay.